TTT Studio is an attempt to answer the question, what is reality? From a common sense perspective, my current reality is the situation I find myself in. I'm sitting in my apartment at a desk typing on a computer while occasionally sipping a coffee. In the modern zeitgeist, this view is thought hopelessly naive. Instead, it is held that things evidently before me do not exist. The only things that really exist are tiny particles, perhaps strings. These fundamental entities and the forces governing their relations are said to completely define reality. The rest, from the taste of my coffee to the solidity of my desk, is a subjective hallucination, a trick carried out by my brain, which itself is just a set of particles. Reductionism, materialism, which equates reality with tiny particles, must have had an aura of craziness when it was introduced by ancient Greek atomists. But 2,500 years later, this has largely dissipated into an air of invincibility. As antithetical to experience as a particle world might be, that world is associated with the awesome advances wrought by physics, from moon landings to computer chips. Surely the scientifically literate reader must assume there could be no other ways of conceiving the world in a scientifically compatible manner. Could there? Well, actually there is. Physics neither depends on nor underwrites the philosophical assumptions of materialism. The idea that we explore here, in TTT Studio, just one such alternative to materialism, is that the things of everyday situations are not illusory mirages thrown up by tiny bits of matter, but real aspects of real entities. This is a view pioneered by advocates of an object-oriented ontology, or triple O, one strand of a recent philosophical movement known as speculative realism. The framework we propose goes by the name of TTT, a moniker that, with a touch of irony, gently refuses to be an acronym for anything. As we'll see, TTT shares several core ideas from triple O while strongly rejecting others. The thesis of TTT is that by considering ordinary situations as equally real as esoteric ones involving particles, we can actually come to a broader, deeper, and more internally coherent notion of the nature of reality. As we explore this framework, we find views that accord with scientific practice as well as with common sense, and which instantly dissolve some of the paradoxes that deeply trouble reductionism. Importantly, we find a pluralism that gives science its due place but does not subjugate other modes of grappling with the world. Taking in a worldview that has pluralism as its bedrock has profound implications for how we lead our lives, govern our society, and face the many challenges threatening our planet. Whenever we encounter reality, which we always do, it comes to us in particular situations. What is a situation in general terms? All situations consist of specific things meeting in specific relations to one another. My situation comprises myself, my computer, coffee cup, chair, room, and so on. These things are in specific relations. I'm inside the room, I'm looking at the computer screen, the coffee cup is sitting on the table, and so on. The set of things and relations that exist in a specific situation can be termed the ontology of the situation. Because TTT places things at the core of its ontology, it is an object-oriented ontology. Yet because it also places relations at the core, it is also a relational one. The TTT approach aims to be as broad as possible. My situation is a pretty ordinary one, but things and relations also comprise exotic situations like electrons in atomic orbits, ion channels opening in cell membranes, and planets orbiting stars in distant galaxies. In fact, the notion of a situation consisting of things in relation to one another is not only simple but general enough that it can cover any domain at all. Besides scientific situations, there are economic and political situations, moral situations, mathematical situations, and even philosophical ones. Practical matters from sports to carpentry to sailing also comprise things in relation to one another. Just as well, imaginary things come together in situations found in dreams, fantasies, novels, and paintings. So far, we've made very general statements that aim to cover an unlimited range of topics, but we've said nothing particularly surprising. Yet, with two more observations about situations, we're about to arrive at a powerful and challenging metaphysical claim. First, a given thing, like myself, exists in many different situations at the same time. While I sit typing at my computer, I also inhabit many other situations. I live in an apartment located in a city on the coast of Portugal, a city undergoing a pandemic and a cold front, neither of which currently impinge on my writing. On a much larger spatiotemporal scale, I am the descendant of a billions-year-long evolutionary process taking place on the third planet of a star, a situation also seemingly irrelevant to my writing, but one that may be relevant to the temperature outside and my sensitivity to it. Typically, the overlaid situations we simultaneously inhabit seem to have little or nothing to do with one another in terms of their objects or relations. Each unfolds in its own terms, largely minding its own business. One situation may be the background conditions for others, making them possible, yet withdrawing from the stage on which they play out. Yet the intersectionality of situations is revealed through occasional and often dramatic eruptions. If my immune system fails, and I'm felled by fever, or if my heater breaks and my apartment becomes freezing, my writing will quickly stall. Because everything is always actually involved in multiple situations, what a thing brings to bear in any given one only partly expresses its nature. The rest of its nature is obscure, hidden. Things appear withdrawn from within any given situation, not because they retreat to an utterly private interior realm, but because things always lead more promiscuous lives that can be gleaned from any particular field in which they lie. Their depths reside not in themselves, not in an essential core, but in relationships not able to be exhibited by a given set of interactants within a particular situation. The second critical observation is that the number of the situations that any thing may inhabit is in fact unlimited. To see this, consider first that because a situation is defined by the things it comprises and their relations, any given situation may change in two ways. One is a reconfiguration in which the relations between a fixed set of things change. The coffee is drained from my cup. The text expands on the page. The sun disappears from the window. My concentration fatigues. Configurational changes occur within the circumscribed limits that include a definite set of things within a situation while omitting others that lie outside. Yet, a situation may also change in a second and more fundamental manner anytime a new thing enters, a true event. My children entering the room open up possibilities that were inexistent without them. I might roll on the floor with one child on my back or enter a conversation about a game I never heard of before. Such an ordinary event exemplifies the transformability of situations, but the same notion applies to even the most rigorously defined scientific situations or experiments. The unknown always lingers outside of any situation, poised to transform it utterly and completely. A flawless computer program is at the mercy of the power cord or a cockroach on the motherboard. There is no complete world, no all-encompassing top situation, no fundamental bottom bedrock situation. The unlimited, endlessly intersituational reality of things proposed by TTT offers a new metaphysical perspective on how appearance differs from reality. In the split between perception and reality, mind and matter, sensual and real, and so on, we face a daunting dualism, a fundamental rift between two planes, one of which is considered more real than the other. In a pluralistic situational ontology, instead, the way things appear in situations and the relations they exhibit within a given set of things compromise a partial reality. Each other situation contributes its own partial reality. There is no singular reality, but endless facets of it, none of which can claim a fundamentality that would include or exclude the others. Things that I find in situations or that encounter one another are as real as can be. Yet the things that are encountered in any situation or domain are never the whole of their reality. Since situations are unlimited, the reality of things is also unlimited. This is an ontology that offers up the real, but which never serves it whole. This is an ontology that refuses anything to be reduced to other things or eliminated from below. Thus, we've arrived at a metaphysical position that denies the claim to primacy of any and all domains of knowledge. TTT offers infinite real objects inhabiting unlimited real situations, none of which can ever claim wholeness. TTT denies the totalizing claims of all of the dominant metaphysics of modern times, from the dogmatic reductionism of physics to the internally incoherent materialism of scientific naturalism, to the anthropocentric textuality of various postmodernisms. TTT proposes a democratic, pluralistic ontology in which no situational domain has the upper hand, no matter its age or scope, no matter the number its things, their size, or their simplicity. In TTT Studio, we discuss various things from the point of view of this metaphysical position. We aim to explore the implications of such an ontology for pretty much everything, from science to philosophy to everyday situations like the one we find ourselves in. We encourage you to join us on our next TTT Studio show.